about the award, I am very grateful for it. But why don't we just say for now that I'm merely the custodian, holding it for all those wonderful guys and gals who worked over the years to bring about this night for me.
Before his death, James Cagney revealed his 7 favorite movies. Or at least that's what the headlines claim. It's a gripping idea. The greatest tough guy of Hollywood's golden age, sitting in a quiet country house, finally naming the films he loved the most. But is any of it true? After digging through interviews, archives, biographies, and TV appearances, the answer becomes crystal clear. Cagney never made a 7-film list. Not once. Not on video. Not in print. Not in any late-life conversation. What he did leave behind, though, were sharp comments about the roles that shaped him, the scenes that defined him, and the lessons that guided generations of actors. Real quotes, real reflections, real moments that reveal who he was behind the lightning-quick footwork and explosive gangster rage. So today, instead of chasing a myth, we're diving into 7 films and philosophies Cagney actually praised. The movies he spoke about, the roles he analyzed, and the advice he repeated until the end of his life. As you watch, ask yourself this. If Cagney really hated the spotlight, why do his words still hit like a punch today? Let's begin the countdown. Number 7. Reflections on Fame and Life. James Cagney never cared about fame the way the studios wished he did. He called himself a song and dance man, not a legend, not a tough guy, not a movie icon, and he meant it. He always said audiences decide what lasts, not critics, not awards, not studio bosses.
Just for my own amazement, and I was playing a lead in it, so I was on screen quite a bit of the time. I decided I was going to play the whole thing left-handed. This was just the method actor indulging himself. I was going to do the whole thing left-handed. I invented more business, as we call it, with props going and everything, and it was an hour show.
That attitude shaped the way he looked at his entire career. Cagney joked that he realized he had hit the jackpot overnight when The Public Enemy blew up. But he never chased stardom after that. He once said that where he grew up, if there's a buck to be made, you don't ask questions, you go ahead and make it. Not arrogance, just survival instinct. Just the honesty of a New York kid who never forgot the streets that raised him. He also insisted that acting wasn't about emotion or self-indulgence. "I'm acting for the audience, not for myself," he said, "and I do it as directly as I can." No mystique, no tortured artist philosophy. Just craft. Just clarity. Just the truth. Cagney believed if you made the audience feel something, you'd done your job. And if you didn't, well, he saw no point in pretending you had. Even late in life, when interviewers expected long monologues about legacy and meaning, Cagney kept things grounded. He didn't romanticize Hollywood. He didn't glorify the star system. He didn't dream about immortality. He viewed acting as work he did well, work he respected, and work he walked away from when it no longer brought him joy. And yet, behind that modesty, there was gratitude. He admitted that one scene, the grapefruit moment, made him a household name. He admitted he was lucky to have worked with people he admired. And he admitted that audiences gave him a life far bigger than anything he imagined. This final section isn't about a single film. It's about the man behind them. A man who knew exactly who he was, exactly what he stood for, and exactly why people loved him. Cagney didn't chase legends. He accidentally became one. Number 6. Acting advice: stay on your toes. James Cagney believed one thing more than anything else. Acting is movement. Not physical movement, even though he was great at that, but energy, focus, forward momentum.
Oh, looks like you've done all right with you already.
Just what do you mean by that?
Do you need a diagram?
He said it as plainly as only Cagney could. Never settle back on your heels. Never relax. If you relax, the audience relaxes, and always mean everything you say. That wasn't advice. That was a battle cry. Watch any Cagney performance, gangster, dancer, cop, criminal, and you see it instantly. He's always leaning in, always charging forward, always alive. He once told a young actor, "Don't play the tough guy, play the truth." And that's the secret. His characters didn't feel dangerous because he acted tough. They felt dangerous because they felt real. Film historian John Farr said Cagney always looked like he was on the balls of his feet, ready to spring like a bantam rooster. That's exactly the visual. Compact, coiled, ready. Even when he stood still, you felt the tension, like he might explode, or crack a joke, or throw a punch. You just never knew. Cagney understood something modern actors sometimes forget. The camera catches everything. If you're bored, the audience is bored. If you're coasting, the scene collapses. If you aren't invested, no one else will be. That's why he refused to relax. Not in the sense of being tense, Cagney never looked stiff, but in the sense of never going on autopilot. That's also why his performances age so well. The truth doesn't expire, energy doesn't expire, commitment doesn't expire. Every line he spoke felt like it mattered to him in that moment. Even when the scripts weren't great, even when the budgets were low, even when he hated the production or the co-star, he still delivered. And here's the thing most people miss. This philosophy didn't come from gangster films. It came from vaudeville. When you grow up performing in tiny theaters, you learn fast. If you lose the audience for even a second, they're gone. Cagney carried that rule into Hollywood, and it set him apart. This wasn't method acting. It wasn't psychological excavation. It was instinct, presence, precision. And it worked. When you watch Cagney, do you feel that coiled energy? Does it make his characters feel more real than other classic actors? Number 5. Learn your lines and tell the truth. James Cagney didn't need a giant acting theory. He didn't need a guru. He didn't need a method. He boiled everything down to one rule. So simple, it almost sounds too small. Learn your lines, find your mark, look them in the eye, and tell them the truth. TheOldHollywoodGarden.wordpress.com. That's it. That's the Cagney formula. No mystique, no philosophy, no rehearsals that last until dawn, just truth.
Don't forget, according to rules now, you understand?
Yeah,
Here we go. Wait for the whistle, chump. Ah! What's the matter with you? Don't wait your hand on me now. Come in. Get in here. Play ball. Ready?
Yeah.
Position now. Here we go. Wait for the whistle.
And once you hear that, you start watching his movies differently. You realize he never acts. He just exists. He listens. He reacts. He speaks like the words are happening for the first time. Every line hits clean, direct, honest. Even in the most intense scenes, guns out, stakes high, the room vibrating, there's no theatrical fluff in Cagney's delivery. He wasn't performing toward the camera. He was talking to the person in front of him. That's why his scenes feel so raw, even today. Cagney hated fakery, hated it on set, hated it in dialogue, hated it in people. That instinct made him a natural. If something felt false, he cut it. If something felt forced, he changed it. If a director wanted melodrama, he'd strip the scene down until it felt human again. And the irony? That simplicity made him one of the most believable actors Hollywood ever produced. Many performers give big performances. You admire them, you study them. But with Cagney, you believe him. Whether he's breaking down a door, singing his heart out, or staring down a rival, he makes every moment feel real because it is real to him while he's doing it. His advice didn't just shape scenes, it shaped careers. Actors like Clint Eastwood, Dustin Hoffman, and even Jack Nicholson credited Cagney with changing how they approached the craft. Because Cagney didn't just act, he behaved. On camera, the way real people behave in life. Quick, sharp, unpredictable, emotionally clean. And maybe that's the greatest lesson here. Great acting isn't about being someone else. It's about being fully alive in the moment. Cagney did that better than almost anyone. Do you prefer simple, honest acting like Cagney's or the modern, technical, method-heavy approach? Which feels more real to you? Number 4. Never settle back on your heels. James Cagney didn't walk into a scene. He attacked it. He moved like every moment mattered, like the floor might explode beneath him if he stood still too long. And when he was asked to explain this trademark intensity, he gave another piece of advice. Short, sharp, unmistakably Cagney.
Coffee.
Perfume. Would you like some coffee?
Never settle back on your heels, never relax. If you relax, the audience relaxes. And always mean everything you say. BestMoviesByFar.com. That line captures the entire electricity of his screen presence. Cagney believed acting wasn't just about delivering lines. It was about leaning forward into the story, being alert, being dangerous, being alive. Watch him in White Heat storming through the prison cafeteria. Watch him in The Public Enemy, smirking like he knows the punchline to a joke that could get you killed. Watch him as George M. Cohan tapping down the White House stairs with that coiled energy bubbling under every click of his heels. Even at rest, Cagney didn't look relaxed. He looked ready. That readiness became his signature. Directors adjusted their blocking around it, co-stars braced for it, audiences felt it in their seats. Critics described him as tight as a coiled spring. John Farr went further, saying Cagney was always on the balls of his feet, ready to spring like a bantam rooster. BestMoviesByFar.com, and he really was. That forward-leaning posture wasn't just physical, it was psychological. Cagney knew that the camera picks up everything: hesitation, boredom, laziness, fear. If an actor pulls back even 1 degree, the lens magnifies it. So he made sure never to pull back at all. This wasn't bluster, it was craft. He believed the audience gives you exactly what you give them. If you bring fire, they feel fire. If you slow down, they drift. If you stop caring, they stop watching. So Cagney made a choice. Keep the audience locked in. Keep their pulse tied to his. Never let them rest. That's why his scenes still feel modern, still feel awake, still feel dangerous. And why actors who study him today, decades later, come away shocked by how much power can come from simple intensity. When you watch Cagney, do you feel that tension, that forward drive energy? Which performance hit you hardest? His gangster roles or his musical ones? Number 3, 1, 2, 3, 1961. By 1961, James Cagney had seen everything Hollywood could throw at him.
Liebchen, I don't want that creep in my office. Why did you send him home to clean out his cage?
I think you better be here because we have something to tell you.
Tell me what? You're not engaged again, are you?
No, not this time.
But nothing prepared him for this. 1, 2, 3 was supposed to be a sharp Cold War comedy. Fast dialogue, big laughs, Billy Wilder at the helm. On paper, it looked perfect. But on set, it became the movie that pushed Cagney to the edge, then sent him into retirement for 20 years. Here's why. First, there was Horst Buchholz, Cagney's young co-star, nicknamed the German James Dean. Cagney tried to guide him, tried to be patient, but Buchholz kept upstaging him, interrupting takes, ignoring direction. Finally, Cagney snapped, later admitting he never had the slightest difficulty with a fellow actor until working with Buchholz, and that he would have been delighted to knock him on his ass. FurOutMagazine.co.uk. That's not Cagney exaggerating, that's Cagney fuming. Then came Billy Wilder, brilliant, hilarious, perfectionist. But on this film, he wanted one thing: speed. He told Cagney the goal was to make the fastest picture in the world. And he meant it. Long monologues, rapid fire timing, zero room for mistakes. Wilder barked orders like a field general. Cagney called him overly bossy, and crew members said the schedule felt like a marathon with no water breaks. Imagine trying to fire lines like machine gun bursts while juggling accents, props, and political jokes, and doing it at Wilder's blistering pace. Even Cagney, king of sharp timing, felt crushed by it. And then, something broke. After filming wrapped, Cagney quietly walked away. He didn't announce a retirement, he didn't explain himself, he just disappeared. No films, no cameos, nothing. For 2 decades. Only years later did he admit the truth. 1, 2, 3 disturbed him so much that he couldn't imagine stepping onto another set. FurOutMagazine.co.uk. Think about that. The man who survived gangster pictures, musical marathons, and Hollywood politics was defeated by a single movie. But here's the twist. His performance is incredible, sharp, funny, explosive. You'd never guess how much strain was boiling underneath. Have you ever had one job, one project that drained you so deeply you had to step away for good? Can you sympathize with Cagney's breaking point? Number 2, his acting code. James Cagney didn't rely on theory. He didn't worship technique. He didn't believe in suffering for the craft. He believed in truth. fast, simple, honest. When young actors asked him for advice, he didn't give lectures. He didn't offer long-winded speeches about motivation or beats.
Show some money. I can't act at all. The bet is on. You're an actor. Okay. Now, all you do is this. That's number one. Oh, wait a minute. This here. Yeah, that's right. And
Cagney boiled the entire art of acting down to one razor-sharp command. Learn your lines, find your mark, look them in the eye, and tell them the truth. The oldhollywoodgarden.wordpress.com. That's it. That's the rule book. And once you know it, you can't unsee it. Every Cagney performance, every glare, every smirk, every explosion of energy feels grounded in total honesty. Like he's not acting at all. He's just being. But here's the secret behind the simplicity. Telling the truth on screen takes discipline, precision, nerves of steel. Cagney said he rehearsed obsessively not to create emotion, but so the lines would live in his bones. Once he stepped onto set, he didn't have to think. He could focus on reacting, listening, hitting every word with clarity and purpose. He hated fakery. He despised melodrama. To him, acting wasn't about pretending. It was about conviction. Think back to White Heat. When he roars, "Made it, ma! Top of the world!" You believe every decibel, not because he screams, but because he means it. Cagney once said you can spot a relaxed actor instantly, because if the performer relaxes, the audience relaxes. And that, he warned, is death. bestmoviesbyfar.com. So he stayed on the balls of his feet, ready to pounce, ready to strike, ready to chase the truth of every moment. Directors said you could feel his electricity before cameras rolled. Modern actors talk about method, immersion, transformation. Cagney didn't need any of it. For him, acting was a contract with the viewer. He would deliver truth. And in return, the audience would believe. And they always did. Do you think modern actors should return to simple, no-nonsense rules like Cagney's? Or has the craft evolved into something bigger and more complex? Number 1. Reflections on fame, legacy, and what really mattered to James Cagney. James Cagney never chased stardom. He never chased trophies. He never chased the myth of being Hollywood's toughest guy. He chased something quieter, something purer, connection. Even at the height of his fame, Cagney insisted the audience, not critics, not awards, not studios, decides what survives. He liked to remind interviewers that the Public Enemy made him a star overnight. "I hit the jackpot," he joked. Cinecollage.net. But he said it the way you'd say you found $20 in an old coat. Surprised, grateful, almost confused by the fuss. He also never pretended to be the screen persona people worship. Cagney said repeatedly he was, at heart, a song and dance man. TheMusicHall.org. Gangsters paid the bills, but tap shoes fed the soul. He talked about fame like it was a noisy neighbor. You live with it, but you never invite it in. When asked how he handled high-pressure scenes, Cagney shrugged. "You don't psych yourself up. I'm acting for the audience, not for myself." bestmoviesbyfar.com. That was the difference. He wasn't trying to look impressive. He wasn't trying to be important. He was trying to communicate, honestly, directly, without tricks. Late in life, he became even more reflective. He said he had seen actors lose themselves trying to impress each other or chase the wrong things. Cagney thought it all missed the point. A career wasn't about being adored. It was about discipline, craft, respect for the viewer who bought the tickets. And still, beneath all the toughness, he stayed humble. When fans asked him which film defined him, he'd smile and say Yankee Doodle Dandy, because deep down, he was still the kid from New York who loved music halls, tap rhythms, and a good story told from the stage. Cagney wanted his work to last, not because it made him famous, but because it made someone, somewhere, feel something real. Which version of Cagney do you connect with most? The gangster, the showman, or the wise old craftsman who believed acting should always be honest? And why? So now we reach the end of the story, and the myth breaks wide open. James Cagney never sat down and revealed 7 favorite movies. He never made a list. He never cared about rankings, headlines, or legacy-padding quotes. What he did leave behind were truths. Sharp, simple, unmistakably his. He told us which moments shaped him, which roles challenged him, which co-stars earned his respect, and which experiences pushed him to the edge. He told us what mattered on set. He told us what mattered in life. And he told us, again and again, that the audience decides everything. Maybe that's why the myth exists. People want to know what a legend loved most. But with Cagney, the real answer is better. He loved the craft. He loved the honesty. He loved the work. And every frame he ever appeared in still carries that fire. So now it's your turn. Which Cagney story struck you hardest? Which performance feels timeless to you? Drop your thoughts below because the audience is still the judge, just like he said. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay sharp, and join us next time as we uncover more Hollywood legends without the clickbait.